people. Sunday, the 30th of October, Halloween Eve. You folks that have been with me for a while know that I'm not into Halloween. I haven't been into it for a long time. But I'll say happy Halloween to you folks, you know. So, a couple things on my mind this morning. Lost a couple people. Jerry Lee Lewis, never liked him, okay? Do I recognize his historical significance to rock and roll? Yes. Never owned any of his records. Never liked him. But not passing judgment on him, like I see some folks, doing, is, oh well. Yesterday, though, we lost DH Peligro, drummer for the Dead Kennedys. I don't own any Dead Kennedys records. Never liked them enough to buy them. I think I, for a while, had the single Nazi Punks Fuck Off, but it was given to me. I thought I might still have it. I couldn't find it in the D section. I'm happy to say that I got to play a show in the 80s, I think around 1985, with RAF opening for the Dead Kennedys here in Omaha. For Omaha, it's a legendary show. It was unusual for a band like the Dead Kennedys to come to Omaha. And they played a fairly big venue for us, the music hall. And really enjoyed the guys. Befriended to a degree Jello Biafra. We got to talking after our set and then after their set. And everyone was nice, including DH, and he and I immediately had this, camaraderie because we're the only black people, in the whole building except for the security guards. So we, that's an instant brotherhood that I have experienced a lot over the years. I was happy to say, though, that Jello told us, it's like, you guys didn't have to do that. You guys blew us away tonight, and we did. We did. There's some silent footage of it on real grainy online, but there's no sound. Just a couple little quick snippets of us playing before the Dead Kennedys, and you can see by our motion that we were on fire. But besides congratulating myself, I wanted to say rest in peace to DH. He was a good drummer. I did not particularly like the Dead Kennedys' sound, though. When Jello and I connected, he wanted to obtain my first two EPs, 7 inches that I put out. And, I had told him I would send him one, and I never got around to it. Years later, I've told this story before, years later he ended up coming through Omaha again on a spoken word tour, went to the show because he had contacted me. We had exchanged numbers and stuff, and said, when am I going to get that record? And I said, oh, I see you're coming in town, I'll meet you at the show. So we met at the show and traded. He gave me a bunch of CDs off of his label, Alternative Tentacles. So I wanted to share that. I showed some records yesterday. Are there any more to show? There aren't. Because yesterday was a day spent with family and a friend. And a little more work, as you heard at the top. That's one of the songs that'll be tracks, because it's not a song, there's no words. Will be on my new album. I really like the one that I was listening to. Like it a lot. So, the other thing to share, if you're still with me, is that after doing the video and talking about psychedelic sounds, and then showing some of these CDs of mine, I got to listening and went ahead and put together another compilation, but this time it's a compilation of ambient stuff from the collection. I could do a few of them. So for Bandcamp Friday, there will be a new release for those of you that are interested in my music and would like to support the channel. Russell, if you see this, I have not openly solicited feedback about my music, but I'm interested in it. So if you have questions or comments about my work, go ahead and let me know. I don't think the child in me is dead, but I really dislike Halloween. I really do. Have for a long time. And I don't think I'm overly serious, but I have this mindset that the world is just too crazy and out of balance for me to enjoy the costume parade and the fantasy. From my perspective, we're living in that too much all the time. And so I'm just, and then the other things I have been observing my entire adult life is how, as I get older and look around me, people are not, many people are not growing into adults. They're in adult bodies with very adolescent and childlike mentalities, thoughts, and reasoning, which I think feeds into the general malaise of the world climate, psychically and mentally. How things are just everywhere breaking down, and we're not getting anything done. We're not addressing these things. So that's part of where I don't get into the fantasy of Halloween. But and then the other thing is, things in the inner city are so bad for so long that children don't trick-or-treat from house to house in my neighborhood. They haven't for years. And I stopped turning my porch light on when adults started to drive up in their cars with the kids, leave the kids in the car, and then the adult would come to the door to trick-or-treat. What is that? That's when I stopped. So just some thoughts on that. So I'll just end it there. I'll say hello to my family. I got to visit with Stephanie and Adrian and Floyd yesterday, which was fun because Adrian, if you see this, Adrian, you're a trip, and I love your energy. And when Adrian is on the scene, you know it. Love you, Adrian. And Stephanie, my older sister, we both know how to get along. So it was really kind of interesting to observe the conversation and be in it and just see how myself and my sister Stephanie, there goes Adrian, just let her go. And her husband Floyd, this is cool because Floyd was in the conversation too. That's her husband, so he knows. He is an expert at dealing with Adrian. I love you, Adrian. You're just something else. I don't watch pay TV, so I have not seen the show Atlanta. But apparently the last episode of Atlanta was about a black entrepreneur, cartoonist, or illustrator, and it's based on my brother-in-law, Floyd Norman. They shared it with me and talked about it, and then they've been getting through social media just a ton of, interest or attention, but the character in the episode was clearly based on Floyd Norman, my brother-in-law. I love that. Last thing I'll say is, for Dave's sake, because I know you watch, Dave, I'll be getting back into the Muppets here this week. That's so much music that it's like it was almost got to a point where it's like it's off-putting. Okay, that's a hefty meal that will pay dividends for a long time. But I plan to dive into some of that today. Okay, So to wrap things up, I will go ahead and do a poll since I don't have anything new to show you to play that I've been playing because I didn't play any records yesterday. Did I play anything at all? I played a little bit of this again. Motion graphics. I keep forgetting the name of this. It doesn't sound like the name of a band or so. I'll go over here. I'll go down here and just whatever I grabbed. I don't know what it is. Well, here's one of those interesting things. The Strawbs started out as a folk band in England. Rick Wakeman, there he is, was involved early on. Bursting at the Seams was the album that I was introduced to them through. I was still in high school, and that was their new album. Somehow I acquired a promo copy, probably from Homer's. I loved it. Lady Fuchsia, and then I just followed them since then. They got to a point like Genesis where the music was very commercially viable and it was much less interesting, although they were still making good music. Just a collection of antiques and curios. This is one of their albums that I added to my collection of Strawbs, and I have never given this a real super critical listen that I can remember. So this definitely gets played this morning, because I don't remember what this sounds like at all. Hero and Heroine, Deadlines, that area, I have all those albums too. I'm familiar with. But I went back and got the earlier ones from the Witchwood and this and something else. So this stays out to get played, but it's a keeper. I like Dave Cousins' voice, and I like the way they write very much. Okay, down here. I ain't cheating. This feels familiar. That's why I just had this out recently. Didn't get to it, but Massive Attack Live, 1998. This is a boot, but I guess it's an official bootleg. It's a Wild Bunch recording. I think this is official. The sound quality is very good, but it's really cut quiet because the sides are really long. But this is an excellent performance, and I saw them this year. I saw this band, this performing band on here. I saw them at First Avenue in Minneapolis. Horace Andy was with them. The legend, the living legend of Jamaican music. They were mesmerizing live. They were really good. And the band really got up on the drummer. The drummer was like greased. Oh, he was so... His grooves were just so... Ooh. Don't even know who the guy is. We'll do one more. This stuff is all very familiar to me, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't pull from it. So let's see what we have here. The Canadian folk rock band, Harmonium. The Heptad is the one of theirs that I don't have that I want to get. These albums, for me, are hit and miss in that there are melodies and melodic passages that I really enjoy, and then there are vocal parts in songs where it's like, I'm just not even interested in this. But overall, this is definitely the type of thing that I like in my collection, and I like folk music. Always have. That's what I have for you today, folks. Bandcamp Friday is coming up Friday. I'll mention it again, but I have a new... The name of it is Ambient. Ambient. For a minute I was going to try to play with the words like Omaha Ambient, and that just didn't, Ambient sounds cool. So it could be taken in a couple different ways, but it's really like the ambient music of Omaha. Ambient. Omaha Ambient. Coming this Friday. Talk to you later.